A president of California's largest state workers union somehow slipped under the radar. He is facing new child pornography charges at this hour, and tonight, CBS 13 has learned that's just the beginning. Jaime Feliciano is a convicted sex offender and a union representative.
Given all of this, we're asking, how did he become a union president in the first place? David Begnaud did the digging for us today. He's live in downtown with the details. David?
Well, Brandy, he was elected, but apparently without anyone knowing that he was a registered sex offender. He represented about 1,500 local state workers, and he was one of 50 local presidents across the state. Today, his boss, the woman who represents all 95,000 state workers, said she had no idea one of her local presidents was a pedophile. And to boot, the state said today they never did a background check before they hired this guy.
A spokesman for the Department of Insurance said today they didn't need to do a background check when they hired Jaime Feliciano to be a researcher in 2006.
The spokesman for the Department of Insurance refused to go on camera today, but did say Feliciano's job did not require a background check. And in fact, by law, they were prohibited from doing one. Had they have done one, they would have known that in 1988 he was convicted of molesting a child and indecent exposure. The charges were later dropped. They would have also learned he was convicted of battery in 91. And you would think they would have wanted to know that in 93 he was found guilty of lewd acts with a child and required to register as a sex offender.
There was nothing about him that stood out.
Shocked by what you've heard?
Shocked and appalled.
Yvonne Walker is president of SEIU Local 1000.
As a reporter, the big question I have is, how the heck do you become president of a union when you're a pedophile?
Well, let me correct you. He's not the president of the union. I'm president of the union.
He's president of a local group, right?
He's president of one of our subsections of the union. He was elected by the memberships. We don't run background checks on our members.
Let me stop you there. Should you now?
No, I don't think we should.
She thinks the state should, and now we know they didn't.
We are doing everything in our power to make sure that we can remove him from office, because certainly he does not reflect the thousands of state workers that are out there doing a dedicated job.
Well, coming up tonight at 6, what we now know about accusations against Feliciano in Reno. Remember, that's how this all started. Police in Reno contacted Sacramento authorities saying, we've got our own case against him there. Sacramento cops went out to his home yesterday, and voila, that's how we got where we are today. We'll have those details.
David, the lack of background checks is very troubling on many levels, not only with this union, but with the Department of Insurance. And conceivably, there could be more guys like this running around working for the state, and they say they're not going to do any checks?
Well, Sam, absolutely. And my question was, what if he had been arrested for identity theft? Wouldn't you want to know that if you were hiring someone for the Department of Insurance, say?
Well, I would think you would want to know that, and that just makes no sense to me that the Department of Insurance wouldn't do it, and then the union says they're not going to do it because the state should do it. I mean,
they're saying that they're a volunteer group. They're not in the business of hiring people. If they can't rely on the state who hires them in order to get them into the union.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of finger pointing going on here. Okay, thanks very much. Good report tonight, David.
We do want to mention that Feliciano is due to make his first court appearance again tomorrow.
Other news.